Listening to Nightbreed on Inspire Radio. And we've got Louis, the man behind the Furor, on the line. How you going, Louis? Hello?
Hello, how you going?
Yeah, good, man, good.
Nice one.
How's Monday night treating you?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Just coming down from a pretty busy weekend. Been seeing family and the sorts and getting around a little bit. Played an all-ages show at the Vision Studios on Saturday afternoon, which was good fun.
Cool.
With the Furor. And, just hanging out around the house and kind of cleaning up and doing family stuff and trying to get around. And it's been fun. Good long weekend.
Yeah,
Any
nice.
time away from work is good.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So let's go way back to 2002. How did the Furor all, start?
It first started like my old band Pagan finished up, so we were completely done, and then I put out the word for some sort of new band along the same lines, speed, black metal, death metal kind of band, and then John Kill Machine hit me up. John Dunlop hit me up quickly on Western Front shortly after. Also Nick Bell from ex-Samhain, I knew who Samhain were. Samhain were kind of pretty established band who were pretty kick-ass at the time.
Yeah.
So he understood like black metal and, man, yeah, kick-ass. So with the two of them, we went along and me and Nick started jamming. John came along like a couple of months later. And then we did Invert Absolute, the first album, the second album, some Eastern States tours, went over east with Marduk and Behemoth and it was kick-ass. We had some good times there with that lineup. That went for up until about 2007. Then we switched bass players. John switched to guitars, and things were shuffled. And now, then I had another lineup, which was Jared from Malignant Monster on guitars, and Jared from Earthrot on bass. And that lineup lasted for about 2 years. It didn't really work out. They were busy with the other bands, understandably, and they couldn't commit.
Yeah.
So, and then at this point, I thought, man, I'm still writing all these songs. I've still got like albums coming out. Stuff's happening. Like I'm pretty productive. So I thought I better do this thing by myself and get on the drums and figure out a way to make it happen. If I have to do it as a freaking live clinic, with backing tracks, that's cool. Anyway, we can get it done.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. So all the Furor releases sound like the Furor, but there's definitely still a change in sound and tone across the albums. But, you put the riffs from Invert Absolute next to the new ones, there's definitely a change. Even your vocals sounds kind of changed as well. Is there a specific kind of sound in mind when you approach writing songs for a new album?
No, not really. I never really looked to change things. I never really looked to shift up any formula. I don't really have any formula to begin with, so I just kind of go into it feeling open-minded, just finding the time to sit down and play guitar and write riffs. I have to be like, that time doesn't come often, so I just sit down, open my mind to whatever's happening, and usually it's in the vein of what I've been done previously. It's similar to what I've been doing, maybe somewhat similar to what I'm listening to.
Okay.
All my roots, which are in the 90s black metal, kind of speed metal, 80s thrash metal kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But things just come out and I just keep rolling with it. I don't really think too much about originality, or everything seems to kind of fall together.
Yeah, cool.
But I just have to find those moments when I'm creative where I can get some good shit out, in a couple of hours' time.
Yeah. So when you're writing the newer stuff, do you sort of have the live show in mind? Like you're envisioning, how's this going to work with you with the drums, or is it, again, you're just being creative and seeing what happens?
No, I'm not really thinking about a live overall vibe at all. Yeah. I'm usually thinking about guitars because I'm writing the riff. I'm writing the songs starting with the guitars. So I'm looking at the fretboard. I'm figuring out riffs. Everything's guitar based. I know the drums will come later. I always figure I'll know what I'll do with drums, and the vocals also come later. But I don't really give any specific attention to what's going to, be dynamic in a live sense. No, everything's just just a clusterfuck of speed, riffage, and blast beating. And if people can hear it live, if people can make out some sense, then they're on the same level.
Yeah, well, you definitely can. So I've seen you play live with just by yourself, and it's fantastic. Is your drum setup different to how it was, previously when you had other guys on stage with you?
No, okay. Same drum setup. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Same. Yeah, basic like double bass, 2 toms in front, 1 floor tom, snare. Everything's balanced. 2 chinas, 2 crashes. So I try to use my left arm as much as I use my right arm. Mm-hmm. Everything's pretty balanced. And then for the Furor, I mix my tracks. I pan them differently when I export them from Pro Tools. And from there, I get them onto my iPod Touch. And then I have a cable. I plug in a splitting cable so I can send 1 signal to the mixer and 1 signal to myself, which has the click track, which I play along to.
Yeah, cool.
And then from there, I'm able to do the live show. Yeah.
Oh, nice. So I got lots of other bands on the go. With Impiety, they're Singapore based. Yeah, how'd you get together with those guys?
I first messaged Shaitan, the singer, in 2011. I was just about to leave Nerve Cell, and I was looking for something else to do. I knew they were busy, and I loved Impiety. Impiety was really one of my favorite bands. I was just crazy about Impiety. I love this band. And they were in Singapore. I noticed they were always traveling and touring, and they were active, and they had lineup problems. I noticed they always had different drummers coming and going. So I thought, man, I'll play the drums to that. I can play that. I can do that. Yeah. So I messaged him on Facebook, and he messaged me back. And within 2 months, he hooked up a South Asian tour of 9 shows through Malaysia, the Philippines, Indonesia, Thailand, and Singapore within 2 months. So before even meeting him, he organized this full tour and the full set list of 11 songs. We were playing 1 hour and 15 minutes. And then 2 months later, I was out there playing with him, and off we go. Yeah. But
awesome.
But that was that's a gateway into so much touring. We went to South America and Europe and China and all kinds of places. Yeah. All around Asia. It was so much fun with those guys. He's so busy. He's such a hard-working guy.
Oh, cool. So the EP, the Impiety EP, Anal Madonna Redesecration from last year, how'd you go recording? Were you sending files over the net, something like that?
We did that. We recorded that album at the same time we recorded Versus All Gods album.
Okay.
In Poland. We did the whole album plus EP in one session. So it was 13 songs we recorded. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was 10 for the album, 3 for the EP, and then they were released separately. That was cool. We went to Poland for 3 weeks, I think it was. We did a mini tour. We played 3 shows of completely different songs, non-related to the new material we were going to record. Played 3 shows of that over Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then we're in the studio for the next 7 days, recording these other 13 new songs, which became the Versus All Gods and the Anal Madonna EP. So that was busy. That was crazy. We flew to Poland. I had 20 songs in my head bouncing around, and we just went from there.
Yeah, well. So, pandemic permitting, what's next for Impiety?
For Impiety, he's still keen as hell to go. He's really keen. I keep in contact. He messages me every 3 months, not so often or so, but just saying that he's still keen to go. He wants to take over the world, and once this bullshit's over, we're going to go out there and conquer and, reinstate the fucking black metal fury and keep things going. But of course, yeah, we all hope it kind of things iron out quick enough because we're all getting older. So we're all getting older, and we don't want to be sitting around on our asses for 3 or 4 years waiting for things to go over while our prime passes us by.
Yeah.
We're not too old. We're still ready to go. So he's ready to go, and I'm ready to go. And I believe our guitarist Izar in Singapore is also ready to go. So as a 3-piece, we can take over when the time's right.
Yeah, cool. So one of your other bands are Bloodlust. Are you guys working on any new releases or anything like that?
I'm not too sure myself. I bet you James is probably working on some new stuff right now. James is always toiling away with new material. He's always got something going. He's got something cooking at all times. So our last release was High Speed Slaughter, EP,
awesome.
which came out about 8 months ago now. And before that was the At the Devil's Left Hand album. And my job in the band is just to be doing vocals. So the drummer and the guitar players get word of things before I do. They learn their parts, and then I come along at the final stages and do my vocals. So, I'd be interested to know, because James is always cooking away with something. He's always got something good going. So, yeah, he never stops. He always surprises me with the creativity that he comes out with.
Yeah, cool. And how you're talking about, your role with Bloodlust? What how does the writing work with Depravity? What's your role with that band?
For the last two albums we did, the two guitar players, Jared and Linton, write most of the songs, and I've written a couple of songs myself. Mm-hmm. A minority of the songs, like 2 songs for the first album, I believe, and 2 songs for the second album. But those guys handle most of the songwriting duties. So they have like home studios. They come up with their demos and they show us, the bass player, vocalist, drummer, show us their ideas, and we pick up from there, get it into the rehearsal room, fiddle with things a little bit, change it around and get it working so we're all comfortable with it, and just put it together. But basically we write songs by ourselves. So Linton's song belongs to Linton. We don't mess with it too much. Same with Jared. Everyone has their songs which are 90% complete, and then we just go from there in the rehearsal room.
Okay, yeah. How do you juggle all these acts? Like, has there ever been an awkward double booking or anything like that?
No, not really. Not that I can remember. Surprisingly, no. Man, it's crazy. Yeah, I have to keep my diary updated so we don't have those kind of clashovers. But no, I have weird, crazy dreams about that kind of things, where I'm late for gigs or I'm at the gig at the wrong day or some kind of weird things. But no, everything's pretty clean. Yeah. Okay. Sometimes I'll play with 2 bands in one night. Yeah. That's just hard work. Yeah, just sweating it out and doing the thing.
Yeah. So would you be open to another band, or are you like, no, I'm tapped out, there's enough going on?
No, I'm good for now. I've got Depravity. I've got the Furor. I've got Bloodlust, which pops up here and there. And then I'm waiting on Impiety from Singapore sometime. Hopefully we'll tour again. But between Depravity and even the Furor, which is I'm more involved in those, that's enough to keep me going. And with work and everything involved in life, that's enough for now. Yeah. I'm not really putting out my services for session recording or drum stuff. There's not enough money in it, and there's not enough time in my schedule to really, make it an option. So 2 bands is plenty for me. 2 active pumping bands, Yeah,
that's good, man. So you play sort of, either more deathy or more blacky kind of bands. Is there a preference that you prefer?
Probably black metal, thrash metal, black metal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like old school thrash metal, Slayer, Scandinavian black metal. I don't actually honestly listen to a lot of death metal, really, except for maybe old school Suffocation or Deicide, mm-hmm. Immolation. What's that old? Yeah, Disembowelment. Just like old 90s stuff. But I don't know if it's relevant now. But for me, it's always been like faster, like 80s thrash metal, like even weird shit like Laz Rocket from San Francisco, Death Hammer from Norway, mm-hmm. Black Thrash, Niflheim, Slayer, always Slayer. Just speed metal, basically speed metal. Yeah. Nothing too like slammy, nothing too heavy. Just it's always like fast, kind of slightly outdated kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, nothing wrong with that, mate. It's great. So we're promoting Metal United Down Under through the show because a guy at the station's putting it all together, and you got Furor and Depravity that night. How you gonna go? How exhausting is it doing 2 shows in one night?
Yeah, it's pretty exhausting, but in a way, it's kind of easier. Like when you look at the 2 sets, it's only 1 hour and 20 minutes worth of activity. So that's sweating. It's not really that long. It's pretty easy to do. It's just a matter. The hard thing is scheduling the rehearsals with the band in the weeks prior, where you're trying to juggle 2 bands. I do my Furor rehearsals after Depravity jam. So we jam with Depravity, and then once those guys leave, I'll hang around the rehearsal room for 2 hours by myself and go over all the Furor stuff. So I get my money's worth with the rehearsal room. I can like pay that off and get 2 jams in with one night. And then the night is just like an hour and a half of playing, which is fine. As long as I have like 20 minutes to catch my breath, I'm good to go.
Yeah, cool. Good to hear, man. All right. Well, thanks, Dave, for your time. We're going to hear Wrath of Abraxas. Is there anything you want to say about this track before we wrap it up?
Yeah, not too much. No, there's a song from the new album, Wrath of Abraxas. Aidan Barton from Pathogen does the no, that's Necrobellion. No, who is it? Don Taylor from Sun Tzu in Adelaide is doing the guitar solos for this song.
Oh, cool.
Long-time death metal fiend from Adelaide who I got in contact with and helped me out with the solos. I got different guitar players for every song to do solos. A bit of a diverse song. Starts off a bit chunky and goes through the ringer as we go. It gets a bit crazier as it moves along. But, a few different shades in this song.
Yeah, good, man. Good. Awesome. Well, look, thanks again, man. Let's get into it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, thanks for the talk. Hey.
Cheers, man.
Cheers, buddy.